Hello everyone, how are you? There's two new TV series out. I'm gonna be watching them and doing recap episodes of what happened. One is I'm a big fan of Josh Gates and his show like Expedition Unknown in that, where he goes and like explores tombs with mummies and stuff in that, or goes looking for buried treasure that pirates lost along the sea. But this new one of his is called Expedition X, which is like sightings of supernatural stuff, and Josh Gates will have two scientists with him, one that believes in supernatural, one that doesn't, and they go and investigate these sightings and that, and try to find out if it is something supernatural or something that's man-made that causes people to think that's supernatural. The other show I'm going to start watching, I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead. Since season 1 to season 11. Amazing series. I know there's people out there that hate it, but there's a lot more people out there that love it. Then they had a spin-off, Fear the Walking Dead. I liked that as well. Not as much as The Walking Dead, but I still liked it. And then they had one with Negan and Maggie on the show. Walking Dead, The City, was based off New York City. I didn't get a chance to see that one, because my TV cable company had all the episodes listed, and all of a sudden now they're gone. But the other one started last night. Daryl Dixon. It's just called The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. He's my favorite character on The Walking Dead. Played by the awesome Norman Reedus. He does a great job playing Daryl. Let's catch you up. For people that do watch The Walking Dead, and people that maybe did not seen the last season yet, or haven't watched any of The Walking Dead. The show ended with everybody okay and good, except there's new variants of walkers, zombies out there now. Like, the zombies that are smarter. Like, they can climb over walls. They can open doors now. They know, like, when the people are attacking them, they seem to, like, kind of, like, move to the side to avoid being attacked. Like, they're getting smarter, right? The Walking Dead franchise part of the show ended with Rick's daughter and Michonne's daughter, Judith, telling Norman Reedus, aka Dill Dixon, that Rick's alive. That's why Michonne left to go find him. So Daryl's gone off to find Rick and or Michonne to bring him back to everybody else. And Judith said, remember, you deserve a happy ending too, so come back. And Daryl's been like raising Judith as his own daughter, you know, keeping her alive and safe, because Rick and Michonne are both gone. So the show opens up with Daryl tied to a boat. And he washes up on shore. Don't have his crossbow, nothing like that. He's got no supplies whatsoever. And he's washed up on shore. He don't know where the hell he's at, right? And he's kind of like confused. So he started exploring through the city. And he starts seeing all these posters and stuff, and finds out he's in Paris, France. And he's like, how the hell did I get here, right? Along the way, he finds an old abandoned boat. He goes in there looking for supplies. He finds some stuff. He finds like a wooden, it's like a harpoon stick, when there's someone attached some kind of like a wooden staff to it. So it's kind of like a double-edged weapon. So he takes that with him. And he finds a tape recorder, and he presses play on it because there's a cassette in it. And it's from the guy that had the boat. He said that he was traveling, trying to find some place that has no walkers, no zombies. And his boat crashed along the shore, and washed up. He went looking for a part for the boat. Sorry, I apologize there. My dog Loki, sometimes he gets there's like a flapper underneath his chin, and when it aggravates, he starts like seizing up. So gotta give a good like massage rub there, and he's all good. Sorry about that. Yes. So the guy went looking for parts to fix his boat. So Daryl went. Then Daryl decided to record his journey on the tape recorder, and he's going. He walks through a town. There's nobody around. He walks through over a bridge. He walks over a mountain, stuff like that. And he finally comes across other part of Paris, other town. And in this one, he goes into the store, and a bunch of infected are there. So he disposes of all the infected, but one of them grabs him by the arm and he screams out in pain because when he pulls away from the infected, his whole entire arm is just bubbling. And he disposes of the walker and finds out that for some reason these walkers have acid in their bodies. And their touch can give you like an acid burn. So like there's a huge like bubbling handprint thing there. So he goes on his way, and he comes across this woman and this old guy. And he's blind, using a walking stick to get around. And they, of course, the old guy doesn't speak no English, but the other woman does. So Daryl says, "My name is Daryl," and she announces her name, which I forget what it was. I apologize. And they trade supplies. So he gets some apples from them. As he's eating the apples, all of a sudden this Jeep pulls up with two guys get out, and they got like military soldier uniforms on. And they start speaking all the language Daryl don't understand because they're speaking French. And all of a sudden, they go to take the woman away from the old blind guy. So Daryl helps the old blind guy, takes care of the two soldiers. And then all of a sudden, the old blind guy smacks Daryl on the back of the head with his walking stick. He ain't blind at all. And then they steal all his shit. Like all the apples, everything he just found on his journey, even that weapon, they just stole it all. But as they were stealing his stuff, this woman appears and chases him off. Daryl wakes up, and he's in a church. And there's all these nuns around, and Daryl is like kind of wondering, like, okay, how did I get here? And this nun shows up. She says, "I'm the one that found you," and all that. And Daryl says, "Somebody's been following me. Was that you?" She said, "Yes." And Daryl introduces himself, and she speaks perfect English. And he finds a dictionary so now he could translate, what they mean in French. And he says, "So, where am I?" She says, "You're in the church." And they show him around. He finds a radio. And he wants to quickly call for Eugene back in Commonwealth. Tell him, "Hey, I'm in Paris. Come get me. Shit's happened." But the radio's broken. So Daryl's like, dang it. And then the nuns telling him, like, that the news, they were doing great. There was a lot of survivors in Paris, but this new breed of walkers appeared, and Daryl shows her his arm, and it's all been bandaged up, cured, like. And she said, yes, they have acid in them, and that's what caused the walkers to start fighting back. They got smarter somehow. And Daryl said, yeah, the same thing happened to me over in the Commonwealth, which is over by Atlanta. And he says, I gotta get on my way. And she says, why are you in such a hurry? And Daryl says, I'm looking for people. And she says, well, before you go, stay a couple days and all that. Get your strength built back up. And he's exploring the church with the nuns. And he comes across the room. It's filled full of weapons, like maces, spears, everything. Daryl's like, what kind of nuns are you? And I laughed my head off at that part, Mom, too. She says, well, we have to learn to defend for ourselves. So she's saying this guy came by, traveling by, and taught them how to fight and protect themselves and all that. So they've been bringing in survivors into the church to keep them protected because those people that Daryl killed, those soldiers, apparently they're part of this rebel group of soldiers because there's no more military, right? So there's a bunch of rebels. Apparently, over in the port area, ships have been coming in, giving supplies, taking supplies, leaving, but the rebels refuse to give any of the supplies out to any of the other survivors. They just keep it for themselves, basically. Daryl says that he washed up on shore, and he says, I was out on the road, I came across people that actually were on a ship. I thought they were nice people, some weren't. He said, shit hit the fan, and I got tossed overboard. So that's how Daryl ended up in the water, tied to the boat. The nun says there's something you have to see, and Daryl finds this walker of a pastor. Daryl wants to know why it's not dead, and the nuns believe that if you get bitten and turn, over time you return back again, and Daryl's trying to tell them, like, no, that doesn't happen. but the nuns are saying that it could. That's their belief. So Daryl don't want to, mess up with the belief. And he meets this other survivor. And this other survivor starts chatting with Daryl. And then says, you're the chosen, you're the messenger, the chosen one. Daryl's like, what do you mean? And the other nuns show him a picture. And the nuns say that this guy drew this picture 3 weeks before you washed up on shore. And it shows this guy walking out of the water, walking to shore. Daryl says, that's just a random drawing. He says, no. He gets visions, premonitions of stuff that comes to happen. Or stuff like that. So Daryl says, I ain't no messenger. I just laughed my head off when he said that. So Daryl goes leave the church to go on his way to find Rick and Michonne. And more of those rebels show up. Well, you can't find out the leader of the rebel. He's got like this neck tattoo and that. He found the old guy that was pretending to be blind and they warned him, and they beat the shit out of the old guy and take her, and she says this American showed up and he's the one that took out your troops. And the rebels started searching the church for Daryl, and they hide, and Daryl had left, right? So Daryl don't know that the rebels are here. They're searching for the church. The nuns let them search it, and then shit hits the fans, folks. The rebels kill that walker that was the pastor, and the nuns just start attacking the rebels. A big fight scene happens. Daryl overhears, sees more jeeps and trucks going to the church. He runs back. And he gets there just in time to dispose of some soldiers. He fights with the guy with the neck tattoo, and then the guy just beats Daryl's ass, like just kicks his ass. Like, throughout Walking Dead, man, like, folks, like, you know what I mean? Like, Daryl hardly never gets his ass kicked except when he fought Beta. So this guy is just as, like, strong like Beta. So Daryl's fighting him, and then Daryl starts getting the upper hand, and the leader of the rebels realizes everybody else he came with is dead, so he takes off in a vehicle. Daryl feeling sorry for what happened, because only 2 nuns survived, and the other survivor, which is apparently a guy that has premonitions of visions, apparently. They haven't really clarified on that yet. That's just speculation there, what they're saying. Anyways, Daryl feels bad because they came looking for him. So, in return for the hospitality and that, he wants to get them away to safety. And the nun says, if you can get us to that port and get us on a ship and take us to where you people live, we'll help you find your friends too. So that's where it ends with their journey. But here's the interesting part. The other survivor, the other guy says, a gentleman met up with him and the nun. So I'm starting to wonder if it is a Rick that came by there and taught the nuns how to fight and defend for themselves and that. Because I think maybe that's what's going to lead to. That Daryl's going to find out this guy they keep talking about that helped the nuns out and stuff and other survivors to fight back against the rebels is Rick Grimes. This episode ends with it shows the port in France, and apparently there's a female rebel leader too, not just the guy with the neck tattoo. There's a female 1-on-1. And they're talking to this captain on the ship, and she wants to know why they're 3 days late. And the captain on the ship says, we picked up this stupid American, and he started causing mutiny on my ship and got some of my shipmates to fight against me, my crew. So we tossed his ass overboard. And she says, oh, you don't have to worry about him. His last name was Dixon or something. Well, they don't know Dixon's the guy that just showed up, right? For causing trouble. Then it shows all these storage container crates, right? And it shows all this infected. So it's not really supplies they're dropping off. They're taking infected away from Paris and dropping them off around the world. That's weird, right? And you find out these are the ones that they're injecting acid into these walkers to make them more dangerous. I'm curious why they're doing that. Why they're making the walkers more dangerous, this group of rebels, soldiers. Why they got this deal with this captain of the ship, and why they're sending them out around the world. Maybe these are the ones that are making the different types of variant walkers, right? I'm curious there. I love the debut episode of it, same as my mom. I read online and it got a lot of good reviews. The episode number 1 of it. It showed scenes for the upcoming episodes. It shows one scene where Daryl and the 2 nuns and the other survivor come across the ship and is just completely overwhelmed with infected. Apparently they got free and had free roam of the ship, apparently. And it shows the 2 rebel leaders talking, saying that they gotta take care of this Dixon. And there's other clues about this mystery gentleman that went through Paris and got them to fight against the rebels. And more clues about who he was. There you have it, folks. Let me know below in the comment section if you watched the episode 1 of Daryl Dixon's show. Do you think that this mystery fella is Rick? Or is it that obvious so it's going to be somebody else maybe that knows Rick? Also, let me know below in the comment section. Do you think Daryl's going to get a crossbow back? Or he's going to be sticking with this new weapon which he has, which is a mace with spikes on it? I hope he gets his crossbow back. Or like a different version of a crossbow. Because he's badass with a crossbow, right? It's not the same Daryl Dixon Val 1. And that and a motorbike and his dog. Which is back in the Commonwealth with Judith. Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.